War at Sea Fleet Commands video for Avalanche Press's Great War at Sea series. We're going to be doing a how-to on recording fuel consumption. This is a pretty important concept, and I don't play with it, and I should. And this is my video is me learning how to do it so that I can do it on my own games. It is pretty important because you do actually run out of gas, and I lost some destroyers that way. If you don't get your ships back to port because they're out of fuel, you lose half of their points to the enemy. So you don't want to do that. You want to be able to get sure you get your destroyers and everything back to port, or still be in play with fuel while they're finishing the game. Before I start though, I do want to say thank you to Avalanche Press for letting us do these modules. I'm really excited about them, and they're important for me because I have bad eyes. I can't see things unless I blow them up, and I have animals, and I have children, and I have all sorts of distractions, so I can't leave games out for days or weeks at a time. And I live out in the country, so I don't have any neighbors or people nearby that can really play. So this is a way for me to actually play these wonderful games, and I just really want to thank Dr. Benningoff for letting us do that. So anyway, thanks aside, let's go set this back up. So I've put this fleet out here, and I'm going to send him back to where I started. So I'm going to select him, and I just want to select the fleet. So I'm going to hold my command key, and I'm going to drag my fleet back to Bremerhaven. Now this is the first fleet, and it's marked as moved. That's fine. You'll see that I've plotted the course already. So this is turn 1, this is turn 2, this is turn 3, and it's pretty nicely indicated by the number in the corner there. So this is my plot, and this plot is invisible to the Entente player. So if I were to switch to the Entente side, he wouldn't see that. Only the German sees that. And the same would apply for the Entente side. The German wouldn't see those. So you can leave these on screen, and this actually tells you where you need to be at the end of which turn. So with that convenience stated, I'm going to one more little caveat here. Frankfurt, the large pieces are not supposed to be on the operational map, but the reason it's here is because I need to right click on it to get to this ship data. The ship data tells me how much fuel this ship has, and this has a fuel of 7, so 7 boxes of fuel. Each fuel box is composed of 24 fuel points, and we're going to expend those fuel points on a little trip, little milk run over to Hull, and then I'm going to show you how we annotate this. So I'm going to take my fleet. As I said, I'm going to select it, and I'm going to drag it. That always happens. You want to make sure you're only selecting your fleet when you move it. Okay, so there I am at the end of turn 1. So I'm going to clear markers. I'm going to press the end of the daylight turn, and then I'm going to note in my notes, I'm going to start a note here, and you can have other notes, and I'm going to put 1 plus. Now, I'm actually tracking this as a fleet, but the fuel consumption is on the individual ships. So if you have 5 ships in here, and the fleet expends a box of fuel, you have to go mark that off on all of your ships. Okay, so now I'm going to go to turn 2. So I'm clicking on him, and I'm going to drag him, and then I'm going to, I'm already on turn 2, I can change it to turn 3, and I'm going to go to my notes, and I'm going to add that back, because it shouldn't have closed it. So now it's getting another 1 plus, and I'm just keeping track of that. So now I'm going to go, I should be clearing markers, but I'm going to stop that now. You've seen how it's done, so I'm just going to keep going. So I'm going to select my fleet, I'm going to move my fleet, I'm going to increment the turn counter, I'm going to add 1. And then I'm going to do it again. And then I'm going to do it again. So at the end of turn 5, right, I'm going to start turn 6, I'm going to put that in there, I'm going to click my move marker off, and I'm going to look here, and I'm going to put my 5th plus there. Now it's night, and the Germans are going to really step on the gas here. So the fleet here is going to move, as you can see here. It's got 2 boxes. that it's going to go for turn 6. So when you're moving 2 boxes at a time, you take off 3 fuel points per square entered. So it's going to be 6. So I'm going to grab this guy, I'm going to grab this guy, and I'm going to move him 1, 2. So now I've actually traveled through 6 of these. So I'm going to go for turn 7, and I'm going to set this as 6, and I'm going to give it another plus sign. Now, the fleet now is going to move 7, 7, 7, and it's gone through 3 squares. And that can happen with a fleet, with a ship with 2. It moves 2 sea zones on odd numbered turns and 3 sea zones on even numbered turns. So it looks like I got this backwards, but you understand how it works. So there's my turn 8. I'm ready to start that. I'm going to go here and I'm going to put in, it's going at 4 fuel points per hex times 3 hexes. 4 times 3 is 9. So I'm going to add 4 times 3 is 12. Do not be mad. So I'm going to add that up to see how close that is. Because when it's 24, we're going to decrement that fuel. It's not, it's 23. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit enter and go to the next line. And I'm not going to increment that. But the beginning in turn 8, my fleet moves 1 square. So it adds 1. And then all of a sudden I have 24. So I'm going to decrement this fuel box right there. And now I have 6 fuel boxes left. Okay, I'm going to go to turn 9. And I'm going to start a new line here. And I'm going to add 1. Now, how you organize this, that's your own business. It doesn't matter. You just have to keep track of when you're hitting 24. And then every time you hit 24, your counter starts over. So I'm going to drag him over 1 more, and he makes it to hull. And it's turn 10. And he has expended another 1 point. So now I have 24, and I've taken that and decremented the fuel once, and I have a remainder of 2. And that remainder of 2 just keeps carrying on until you get to 24, and then you decrement another fuel box. So there's one other situation where you're going to expend fuel, and that's during combat. Okay, when you're in combat, you expend, hold on, I'm just going to double check this. A player writes 12 for each speed 2 ship, 8 for each speed 1 ship, or 4 for each speed 1 very slow ship. So if I'm in combat, I stop here and we have a generous little combat with a 2 movement factor ship, then he incurs 12 points of fuel. So if I were going to move, say, 3 hexes, have a combat, well, right there, that's 24 points. So I would drop a fuel box on the ship data sheet. So that's the other situation you expend fuel. I don't think there's any hits where you lose fuel. There are hits where you lose speed, so your speed may become easier for your fuel consumption, but it doesn't come out from combat. So this is how it works. Go forth and play. When you're ready to play a game with me, let me know. I'd love to play. So thanks a lot. And again, thanks to Dr. Benioff and Avalanche Press. And thanks to you guys for playing these modules. I really appreciate it because now I have an excuse to make them so that I can play them. Thanks, and go play.